Hey guys, it's just you and me today, and it is a jam-packed episode. So grab your coffee, tea, or wine, and let's go. Welcome to Make and Decorate, a podcast for makers who love to sew, quilt, and decorate. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 27 of the Make and Decorate podcast. I am Stephanie, and this is publishing on May 9th, and we're into a new month, so happy May. Oh, I hope that by this time, because I'm recording this, the week before, but I hope that we all are drying out from all of this rain. There has been a ton of storms, tornadoes, rain, flooding across the country. So, last week we had some more snow, and listen to this. Our snow count for the month of April was 7.5 inches of snow. Is that crazy? I don't even think we had 7.5 inches of snow in January. Oh, man. Okay, well, we're in May now, so really, it could stop snowing. All right, I want to let you all know that I added a pop-up thing that will ask you if you want to sign up for my newsletter. So this is when you go to my website, stephaniesochadesign.com, and if you also go to the podcast page, it'll pop up and ask you that. And I'm going to publish a newsletter, but don't worry, it's not going to spam your email box every day or every week. I'll be lucky if I get one out once a month. So, but I'm looking forward to it because there's a few things that I come across that I'd like to share with you guys. And it's a good place to just, give you some updates in between the episodes. And also when I start, hopefully publishing some patterns and that sort of thing, it'll be a good place to do that. So please sign up for my email newsletter. And while you're signing up for things, go to YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get at least 1,000 subscribers. And I just, when this tendonitis clears up or starts to get a little better, I will be posting videos much more frequently. But there are a couple of newer ones in the last month up there. So if you would subscribe to my YouTube and sign up for my newsletter, that would be awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let me tell you what I've been working on. I have another baby quilt, and I spray basted it. I tend to like to spray baste baby quilts, but then I pin based like bigger quilts. So, I don't know why, but that's the way I kind of like to do it. And the baby quilt has one of those minky cuddle, whatever it's called, on the back, which is kind of slinky and moves around a bit. So the spray based really helps it to stay put while you're quilting it. It's just important to, when you're spray basting the batting onto the back, to really like smooth it out. And so I do that on my my bigger cutting table. And then once I got the batting onto that, then I pinned it up onto my design board, and I did the Krista Watson method of finish spray basting it onto the top onto the batting, and it worked really well. So it was so easy to do, and I just spray based, the first half of the quilt, and put it on, smooth it out, and then the second half, and then ready to go. So got that done. It's on the machine. In fact, it's still on the machine now because I just started to do the tack down with the stitch in the ditch portion around the main, the main border and so forth, just to like have it kind of tacked down in place before I start the quilting part of it. So the quilting I'm going to do is a combination of ruler quilting. I'm getting out the rulers again because I'm still kind of new to it. And actually for the tacking down the stitch and the ditch part of it, I've been using the straight ruler. I like my Bernina ruler. It's got the little notch at the end that you line up on your seam line, and the foot fits inside that notch, and you've got it. It sews perfectly a quarter of an inch into the ditch. So that's actually really helpful. I kind of like that. So I'm getting used to doing that. And I'm going to probably my plan is to do some ruler quilting and mix in a little bit of free motion with it. So we'll see how that goes. And like everybody says, it's a baby quilt, so the baby's not going to mind, right? It's not going into a show. And this is a great practice, I think, to do all your quilting techniques and styles on our baby quilts. And I'm also working on hand binding the King butterfly quilt. So that is almost done. I completed the hand embroidered quilt label that I made for my client, and all that's left to do is to hand bind it. So I'm really excited. I can't wait for this to be done and to give it to her. I am hoping I can photograph it there, because she has the most beautiful home. It was just newly renovated a few years ago, and I had so much fun being part of that design process. So yes, I cannot wait. I am also working on the Trixie panel by Heather Ross, and it's a fabric by Windham Fabrics. So on this panel, I think I talked about it before, but there's really cute little, there's a Trixie mouse, which is the girl, and Thomas mouse, which is the boy mouse, and there's little clothes, and it's basically like a hand sewing project. And there's a little quilt design on there. There's a little tent design. So very nice and transportable. And that actually worked for me this week, because the other day I had jury duty. I was a standby juror, and they give you a number to call the night before to see if you have to definitely show up. And I did. So I went there, and I'm so glad I brought it with me, because it really made the time go by much faster. And it was actually kind of like a pleasant little time out for me. I mean, I know a lot of people like dread the jury duty, because it does kind of mess up your week, because I did have to like move things around in the schedule and stuff. But it is our civic duty, and yeah. So I've never been selected to go onto a trial. So it's kind of would be interesting. The only thing is, I mean, I would like to get on the trial. That would be maybe like just a day or two. But the scary part of it is if you get into one of these trials that goes on forever and then you get sequestered. I mean, that sounds like a whole nightmare. But anyway, I didn't get selected, so I just did my, full day jury duty, and it was fine. But yeah, I got to work on this Trixie panel, and I got almost the entire Trixie mouse sewn. And I just want to share one tip about that, is that I used a silk thread, and the silk thread is about 100 weight. So it's really like a thin, but silk is pretty strong. It's a strong fiber. And it really is nice to use with hand sewing. I know a lot of hand applique sewers and quilters use this yarn for needle turn applique, and it's great. And I learned this little trick or technique that when you thread your needle with the silk thread, you know how you have the one little shorter tail hanging down, and it's like more like you're sewing with a single strand of thread. Well, you take that little tail and you do a double knot and you pull the two threads and knot it all the way up against the base of the needle. And you do that double knot. And because the silk thread is a little slippery and it can easily, as you're sewing, fall out of the eye of the needle and then you have to rethread. And so, and because it's 100 weight, when you take your stitches, it glides right through your fabric. So you would think that, oh, this double knot, I'm not going to be able to get this needle through the fabric and it's going to create a hole. It doesn't. It's just so fine that it slides right through, and it keeps your thread, like you never have to worry about losing your thread out of the needle. It's a great little trick. I love it. And I really enjoy using that silk thread for hand sewing, hand stitching. For the quilt part, though, I think I am going to switch over to like a 50-weight cotton thread. But for the little animal construction pieces, because there are some really tiny little features, and the silk thread was really great for that. I've got several other projects kind of queued up where I've selected the fabrics and I've got the pattern all inside of this little vinyl. It's kind of like a vinyl pouch or envelope. And I've got an Aragon bag from So Sweetness that I need to make. And I still have sitting out that English paper piecing lion pattern from Violet Crafts that I have it out because I really want to start making that. Oh yeah, and hello, the Allison Glass trinket sew along that I've massively dropped off on. I knew that was going to happen, so that's why I waited till almost the last minute to sign up for it. But I did start off the first couple of weeks okay, but that's all right because this is a little different for me falling off it, because I'm pretty confident that I am going to complete this. I'm going to finish it because I really like this pattern, and it's so flexible. And you can do a minimum of only 40 blocks. And these blocks are only, 4.5 inches square. So you could do as little as that, or you could do, if you're doing the pattern as it's written, then you would do like, I don't know, I think it's somewhere like 93 blocks. So, and I have all the fabrics for it, and I love the fabrics. So I will eventually finish that one. I'm pretty confident of that. It's just a matter of when. And oh boy, so many projects, so little time. And so what do? I get into another project in a different genre of crafting and making. I ordered some yarn for a crochet project. Yes, I am going to make the Kristen Nicholas Scrappy Hexagon Afghan. This is a free pattern, so if any of you guys have any interest, or if you do crochet, or even if you don't, I think it's a really good crochet project to start off with, because you don't do the typical continuous style of crocheting where, you just keep crocheting and the Afghan gets bigger and bigger and you're crocheting all these long rows. It's very similar more to like English paper piecing of hexagons. So all you do is crochet all of these little hexagon pieces, and then when you get I don't know, like 215 of them done, then you start sewing them together. So I'm looking forward to this. And I do have a specific reason why I want to do this project, is because we are going on a road trip in July, and I need another kind of like a portable hand project type thing to do. So I'm definitely taking this on my trip, and we'll see how much I can get done. But I'm so excited about it. I mean, you know how like when you see something, you see a project somewhere and it just sticks in your mind and you're just like, oh, I just love that. I wish I could do it. I wish I could make it. And it's like, why not? I mean, fit it in and see. But I mean, and this was definitely not an impulse because I've done those too, where I'm just like, oh yeah, I see something I like and love, and I would love to do that, without even thinking about it, and just dive right in, and then you just never finish it. This one, I definitely thought about it. I read through her entire pattern, or the pattern instructions, and I researched the yarn because I know hardly anything about yarn. I know everything about fabric, but yarn is a whole different fiber. However, the content is similar to fabric, I think. So let me tell you, I'm so excited about the yarn I found. I did this, this big search, and I had an idea of the color palette I wanted, and I pretty much got that palette available except for one color. I wanted an aqua blue, but that wasn't available with the yarn that I ended up going with. But okay, this yarn that I found is from a website called WEBS. They sell yarn that's currently active and available, and they also sell closeout yarns. So I feel like I really lucked out on this because I got like a really fine, quality yarn for really a good price. So this yarn is 80% worsted weight wool with 20% silk. Ah, silk. I knew this fiber content was going to be perfect for me because wool and silk combined together takes all the itchiness away from the wool. It is super soft and luxurious. So I definitely cannot wait. This is also going to prompt me to want to finish this Afghan because it is going to feel so nice and soft. But the colors too. That was the other thing. I was finding yarns that were, fine to use, but they didn't have the colors I wanted. So finally I found, and these are beautiful colors. They're all my colors. And by my colors, I mean I gravitate towards cool colors. I love them. And I love purples, blues, I love a really fresh spring green color, like a pear color. And that's what I got. I got these, they have these gorgeous colors. And when I got the order, oh my gosh, it was like Christmas. It was hilarious. And I actually did an Instagram story on it, which I rarely do Instagram stories. So oh my gosh, they're just beautiful. I'm holding one right now. But the yarn that I got is from a company called Baracco. And so I looked them up because it does say that this yarn comes from Italy. But the company that sells this is in Rhode Island. So it's an interesting company. They have an interesting history. And I love that, this company started back in the 1800s and it's changed owners since then. But I'm so glad. I am so glad that, other people keep alive some of these, textile companies that we really need here. And it's really nice. So they actually import yarns from all over the world, and this yarn happens to be bento, which is from Italy. And it was a closeout collection, so it was I could afford it. Because if I were to have to pay full price for this yarn, it would have been exorbitant. So, man, I mean, can you really feel my excitement? This is like something that no one else around me actually gives a hoot about. But you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys can relate to the excitement that you feel when, first of all, you get exactly what you're looking for, and then some, with a little bonus of like a luxury fiber like silk and a great deal on it. Oh, okay. That's it. I'm done. I've talked about this way too much. So another thing I did this week is I took this Adobe creativity quiz, and it was really fun. It was scarily accurate. And my creative type is the dreamer. And I pretty much already knew that, but when you take these kind of quizzes, it's really fun when you answer these questions, just like almost without thinking. That's almost the best way to do it, because if you think too much about it, then you're trying to give them the answer that they want. And so I answered it as completely honestly and as quickly as I could, and it was right on. So that was so much fun, and they give you like all the little social media formats so you can post it. I just did the one on Instagram, and it also gives you a little PDF to download, and it's a nice color sort of printout. I didn't print that out yet. I don't know if I am. I could though, put it on my little pin board here in the office. But here it is, Dreamer download. I don't know what the other types are, though. I wish they would have said. I know that there's an innovator type, because that's what it said that I would pair very well with, is an innovator. Let me see. Here's the PDF. So it says that my creative strengths are connection to emotions and imagination, empathy, and sensitivity. And my untapped potential as a dreamer is using dreams to fuel real world action. Oh my gosh, how true is that? For any of you guys that have been listening to me for a while, that you know that is so true. And the dreamer description is the power of imagination unleashed. And the ideal collaborator is the innovator. Okay, yes, that's it. So it's a really tiny little link at the bottom left side. When you go to mycreativetype.com, it says types. So here are the types. The artist, the thinker, the adventurer, the maker, the producer, the dreamer, the innovator, and the visionary. So now I just went to the maker, and because I'm like, why didn't I get to be the maker? And it says, committed to your craft. Creative strength is focus and dedication and ability to achieve mastery. And so that's what I was just talking about earlier, being a serial crafter versus a master at the one thing that I make. So I guess that's why I'm not a maker, creative type. And the artist, let me just see what that one is. I know you guys can go and look on this yourself, but this is kind of funny because maybe you don't have time. The artist, seeing beauty, creating beauty. Now, I don't know. I think I've got some of that here. Ability to bring ideas and concepts to life. Untapped potential, becoming totally fearless in your expression. Ideal collaborator, the producer. See, now this is sort of like, I think I'm borderline this, but who knows the algorithms that they put on here and which answers, leans towards which creative type that you get to become. So that's the artist. I only took this test one time too, and I'm not going to take it again to try to get a different output. I know I'm not the thinker. Deep thoughts, big questions. Yeah, and the adventurer, I'm not so sure. So much inspiration, so little time. But that does sound like kind of me, doesn't it? High levels of creative energy, spirit, curiosity, and play. I got a little bit of that. But I don't know if I have high levels. I mean, this is probably for like extroverts. Yeah, fueled by high energy levels and boundless enthusiasm. Yeah, okay. That's probably not me. So yeah, definitely I think mine was pretty right on for the most part. The producer, processes power. Oh, the producer's ideal collaborator is the dreamer, which is me. Okay, I need to stop because I probably should edit this out because this is probably boring to you guys. I'm going to stop reading these, but go to mycreativetype.com. Okay, back to where we were. But if you guys have taken this quiz, post it on your Instagram or let me know what creative type you are and how accurate you think that the quiz was for you. And if you do post it on Instagram, do a hashtag make and decorate podcast. That way I'll see it. Also follow that tag too, because I try to tag anything that I post that's relevant to our podcast. Let's talk a little bit about sewing machines. So Baby Lock sent an email out. I'm on their mail list, and they've got a warehouse and floor sample sale that started May 1st and is going through July 31st, where they have a number of reduced priced sales going on and floor samples. So if you had any interest in a Baby Lock, and they have all price point levels. They have a machine that's $99 all the way up to $20,000. So there is a machine for every skill level and every interest. This would be a good time to check out a dealer near you and ask them about this warehouse floor sample sale, because you could probably get some really good deals. So that's a good time to do that. And I like Baby Locks. I mean, they're a pretty good quality machine, and they have a good company and pretty good service. So that I saw. And what else? Oh, some new machines to consider for beginner, hobbyist, sewer, garment makers. And I don't know why I looked this up after I saw this. I'll put a link to this YouTube video. It's with Wendy, and she is in Canada, and she's got this fantastic YouTube channel for sewing. She mostly sews garments, and she's very good at keeping things, kind of, I don't know, frugal or, in a lower budget, and makes them look fabulous. So you should check out her YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the show notes. But she did an episode of 3 machines to consider for beginner type levels in different price points. And this one, I'm like, how did I not know this was out there? I knew about she introduced this beginner mechanical Baby Lock machine, and then there was also a Janome, but there is a Singer Featherweight C240, and it is kind of designed, with a nod to the old, vintage Singer Featherweight machine. It has a metal frame. But just a little bit of history here. For those of you who are newer to the sewing world, you may hear experienced sewists and quilters and so forth say, "Oh, never get a Singer. They are not the company they used to be." And to a point, that is true. There was a period where Singer changed ownership, and the quality level of their machines that was always known to be top notch. They were always number one. Went way down. I mean, they just took a nosedive. And I actually, a long time ago, because I saw Martha using this on Martha Stewart's show, but this was, she always sewed on a Bernina in the past. And then all of a sudden I see her sewing on this Singer Confidence. And this was in her 2006 show, I think, or something like that. So I was like, all right, well, if Martha's sewing on it, I guess I could sew on it too. And I got it. I took that machine right back after I pulled it out and used it for the first time. It was terrible. The stitches were wobbly. I could just tell that the quality was not there, and I was not happy with that machine whatsoever. And that machine was about $400. So not anything to sneeze at. And yeah, so I definitely really didn't look at Singer machines ever again because of my experience with it, and also from hearing that, it's not the same company. So actually in 2006, Singer, the group that owns Singer, purchased Pfaff and Viking. And Pfaff and Viking are pretty good machine lines, especially I know Pfaff. I have not sewn on a Viking, but my very first machine was a Pfaff. And it had the dual feed, which is what I got very used to as a beginner. And it's hard to lose that feature. Pfaff, they won awards, innovation in sewing machines, I think in 2007 or whatever. But so that is who owns the company now. And so there's a strong Pfaff influence in the Singer machines. So that is what this new featherweight machine is. Someone even mentioned in one of the review comments that, oh, this is a, wolf in sheep's clothing because the insides of the machine are a Pfaff 2.0 and whatever. That very well may be, but take a look at this machine. I wish I could try it out. I mean, I don't really need to buy another machine, but man, this thing looks so cute. It only weighs 14 pounds. I've watched several videos on it with people talking about it. I watched the With Wendy review. She kind of sets it up and sews a little bit on it. But it really does get pretty much glowing reviews, and I was really happy to see this, especially because they're calling it a Singer Featherweight, so you want a featherweight to be good. I do have a featherweight. I've got the one from the early 1950. So I know what the original featherweight is, and it is awesome. Love it. But this newer featherweight looks really cool, and I'm telling you, for the price point, it is pretty astounding. So I went to the Singer website. They had the lowest price, $349 US. Walmart sells this machine, $388, but the Singer website is sold out. So I don't know if they're getting more stock in, but right now, as of May 1st, 2019, they're sold out. But Walmart has stock, and it's $388. There's other sewing machine vendors that also have this in stock, and I've seen prices that went up to $400. But let me tell you, for that price point, you really do get a lot of bang for your buck. There is the integrated even feed foot, which is like the dual feed. It is on there. It is built in. You just push the little lever down. I've got that on my Merino. It is fantastic. I can't imagine not sewing without it. Well, except for on my Juki, but that's a whole different thing. I mean, but yeah, that dual feed is really awesome. And I'll just go over a few of the features, because if you need a machine, first of all, if you're starting out, or if you're a hobbyist and you're going to pull your machine out to make costumes, or you're going to make some table runners and maybe a quilt here and there, you're not doing this every single day, this is a great machine to invest in. And let's say you do have your, nice big fancy machine at home, but they're too big to lug around to take to guild meetings or to sewing retreats, or even if you're like me on vacation. This machine is only 14 pounds. It's really cute, but that metal frame really makes a difference, the dual feed. And it has 70 stitches. It has a hard cover, 2 LED lights. It has the speed control that you can press with the button, faster or slower. And it also has presser foot pressure dial. That's really good, because you really do need to be able to adjust the presser foot pressure, that's like a tongue twister, when you have thicker or thinner fabrics, that's a really good feature to have, to be able to adjust that pressure. Top loading bobbin, stainless harp space. That was really nice, and I could tell that's a FAF feature. Front storage is in a plastic thing that slides off the free arm. So it has a little free arm space for sewing, sleeves and narrow tube-like things. What else? Oh, it has a tie-off pattern button, which means that when you're stitching, you can press this button and it'll automatically do the little stitch in place to tie it off, to knot the thread before you pull it out to cut it. And the other thing that it has is that tap foot control for the needle up, needle down. And my Bernina has that in the foot pedal. I love it. You can just tap it and it'll put the needle up or needle down, hands free. So there are some really nice features to this machine for $349 or even $388. It's amazing. The speed of the machine is 700 stitches per minute. So that's fine. I mean, that's faster than even most people want to stitch at. I, on the other hand, am a speed demon, so I love my, Juki at 1,500 stitches per minute. But honestly, even I am not stitching that fast on every single thing. I only stitch that quickly when I'm doing a lot of long straight stitch projects like, drapery panels or I don't know, pillowcases, whatever. But the 700 stitches per minute, I mean, that's even a little bit faster than my old Baby Lock Allure Plus, which I think is at 650. So, and that's an embroidery machine. So it's pretty good. Take a look at it. I'll put a link to it on my show notes on my website. I'll go over, I really only could come up with 2 cons about this machine for what you get and for the price point level. And there is no auto thread cutter. So you have to either cut your thread, you have to cut your threads manually. So either with the little snips or on the cutter on the side of the machine. And there is no knee lift for a hands-free option. And with the knee lift, I mean, is that little bar that you put that you can press your knee against to lift the presser foot if you want to pivot around a corner on your fabric without having to lift your hands up. So those were really the only 2 things that I could see that I would want in an everyday machine. But if I'm getting this to go on retreats or guild meetings or, traveling, it's got a whole lot more. I mean, and it's a good backup machine. And honestly, for an everyday machine, especially if you're just sewing clothing, it's really good. It's so anyway, if any of you have this machine and you've been using it, because apparently it's been out since 2017, so for a couple years. But let me know. I want to know. I want to know how this machine works for you, if you like it. It has a hardcover also as well, which is great. But yeah, so the Singer C240 Featherweight, Singer Featherweight C240. So yeah, that's a newer machine, I guess, to me. So I wanted to put that out there for you guys. Excellent price point, and it looks like the heavy metal frame and all the quality is there. So good work, Singer. That was really good. All right, so another thing that you might be interested in is if you use the EQ8 software for quilt design, the download of the month is Aura by Mr. Domestic. art gallery fabrics. So you can go to the EQ8 website and download this fabric collection. If you have these fabrics or if you want to make something from the Aura collection, they're there. I already downloaded it. It's awesome. And get on the EQ email. I sign up for these newsletters, and there's certain ones that, I definitely make a point to look at. EQ8 always has some fabric collection that you can download for free, because I think otherwise you might have to purchase them like for $5 for so many fabric collections. I'm not sure. I haven't done it in a while. But that drew my eye to it because I do have Aura fabrics, and it's a great collection. I love that little turtle fabric. It is so cute. So that's with EQ8. And okay, the last topics that I have to talk about is, and I know by the time I'm recording this on the 1st, but it's publishing on the 8th, and Mother's Day is on the 12th. So if you want, they're Mother's Day ideas, but they're really for any day ideas. But especially I was thinking about Mother's Day, and if you had some time, you can pull this out. But if not, just put it in your idea file. So first of all, speaking of Mr. Domestic, he released a YouTube video on making decorative towels by adding fabric banding and on one style and gathering and putting a button so that you can loop it over, let's say, an oven door handle. So that's a good, really quick gift to make. So you could certainly do that. And who doesn't love like personalized towels like that? That's cool. Or custom towels. And from the EQ8 website, they have a free quilt pattern. It's like a small little wall hanging quilt, but there's so much that you could do with this. It's called Mother's Day Tea. It is so cute. They are teacups with saucers. And it's kind of their pattern has like 3, 6, so it's a grid. So there's 3 rows of 3 teacups. So there's 9 teacups altogether. But I was even thinking you could just use the teacup design and applique that onto a linen towel. You can make a pillow out of it. It's so cute. There's so much you can do with that. So take a look at that. And then another idea, I actually did this last year for my mom. I made the So Sweetness Oslo craft bag, another free pattern from So Sweetness. And it is now, this bag has a lot of pieces, so it will take a couple hours just to cut everything out. But then it sews together pretty quickly and nicely. So it was meant to be a craft bag, and it's like a squared sort of a tote. It's got handles, and it's got front pockets, exterior and exterior side pockets, as well as a divider on the inside. You could make it as a craft bag, or to make it into a garden bag, I made it out of outdoor fabrics. So these fabrics are made out of either 100% polypropylene or 100% acrylic, so that they can get wet and muddy and they can wash right off, no problem. So, and then when I gave it to my mom, I put a pair of new garden gloves in there, and what else? Like a little, like little garden tools. It's really cute. So that's a great gift if your mom is into gardening. Or you can make it with quilting cottons, and if she's a crafter, sewer, crocheter, it could be a nice yarn bag or a nice craft bag. So that's a great gift to make and to give. And this other one is such a cool idea. I want to make one of these actually for me. But as also, I'm really seriously thinking of doing this for gifts too. It is a fairy garden. And I've seen a bunch of them, but this one I really like, and it's fairly simple to make and not that expensive. And if you subscribe to Blueprint, it's by DIY, what is it? DIY Garden Weekends or something like that. But if you just do a search on Fairy Garden, it'll come up. And it's pretty simple. It's just made from terracotta pots, and you kind of score an opening on this 12-inch terracotta pot and wrap it in plastic, and you just kind of tap it and it breaks off perfectly. And then you fill it with some potting soil, and then you take these broken rim parts of the terracotta pot and you make this little stepped design. It steps up and it's like garden. It's so cute. It is so, so cute. There's like little pebbles and moss, and she used the sedum plant. This is really cute. So take a look at that. It just looks so pretty. It looks fresh, and I think anybody would love to get that as a gift. So, and another thing that this garden designer did is a Zen garden with sand. And I think like 15 years ago, this was like a huge trend. And I think I had one like on my desk at work, but it was a real tiny one. But this garden designer made a little bit of a bigger one. But you could get like a wood tray from Target or something and just fill it with sand. And she made the little rake. So then you can rake all of these different designs in the sand, and it's sort of like supposed to zen you out and, give you like some, calm meditation and peace and stress relief. And she took a fork and she bent the tines forward, and then she wrapped a twine around the handle, and it looks like a cute little Japanese rake. And then you put these little smooth river rock stones in there. It's so simple, but it is so pretty. It really, and especially, for those who have a modern minimal style, that's perfect. I love it. It's so nice. So those are my ideas for Mother's Day, or maybe even just to make for yourself. Okay, and I'm going to conclude this episode with what I've been reading and watching. I've been reading this book by Natalie Fergie. It's called The Sewing Machine. This is if you are in the Sew Sweetness Facebook group, or if you're following along with her book club. This is the first book. And so they're already on book 3, but I just don't read that quickly when I'm doing all this other sewing and stuff. And I'm actually reading in it. I didn't get the audio version. For me, some books are just better when you read them versus having them audio. And then some other books I generally like to listen to the audio version. I don't know why. It's just a weird thing with me. All right, watching a couple of things I am on PBS, and PBS is like probably my favorite channel ever. I love Masterpiece Classics, Masterpiece Mystery, and right now they're replaying the Les Miserables series. I think it first ran in December, but I totally missed it. And I'm probably the only person in the world who has never read or seen a version of Les Miserables ever. Mostly because my mom would always tell me that it's like so depressing and you don't want to watch it and la la la. And I would see some images of promotion, things about it, it did look sort of depressing. So I never did. And I even had reservations with this one, but the curiosity got to me, and I love the way that PBS does these types of shows and series. And so I think I'm like through 3 episodes, and it's really good. It's really well done, although I don't even know how it's supposed to be done. But it definitely is a heavy topic and storylines. But I'm hanging in there, and I'm hoping that I don't even know the story. So like for me, it's better that maybe it's better that way. So I don't know what's to come, and the curiosity is keeping me in there. And the actors are so good. Dominic West is in there, and Lily Collins. So I do recommend it. It's a good watch. And there's a couple of YouTube channels that I've just discovered and really like. The first one is called, it's a long name, The Last Homely House East of the Sea. And the person on this channel, her name is Kate. And she, the video that I came upon, an English paper piecing with Liberty fabrics. And she had some really beautiful fussy cutting designs. And of course, the Liberty fabrics are absolutely gorgeous. She also kind of reviews the Millie Fiore book, and she did a reading from the beginning of it, just on the intro. So I really like that channel. She's a pretty talented lady. And another channel, just because we're getting into the season of gardening, this one is called Garden Answer, and they're out of Oregon. And really, I must have gone through 5 or 6 of their videos already. Some of them are really short. Like there's this one that's only a minute and a half long about Alice in Wonderland Fairy Garden. So I think I started with that one. All right, and I've also been stumbling on these mega celebrities that have their own YouTube channels. Is that so weird? But J-Lo, for instance, Jennifer Lopez, has a YouTube channel. So she just kind of gets up there and talks about stuff. There was an episode recently where she had her 2 kids interview her. It was mostly like mom questions. And another one is Kiefer Sutherland, and he's got his own channel. He does cooking. He cooks from his kitchen. So I watched a couple of those episodes, but it's interesting. It's like everybody's getting out there doing their thing on YouTube. So, and me too. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, and this is where I am going to conclude this episode because it's a full feature film here. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And again, continue to send me your comments and questions and feedback. And please remember to like, subscribe, review, all of that good stuff so that I can keep bringing you episodes. Have a great weekend. Talk to you later. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Make and Decorate podcast. You can find the show notes and the podcast episodes on my website at stephaniesochadesign.com. And don't forget to sign up for my newsletter.